Our topic is personal informatics this week, so I will briefly introduce personal tracking technologies associated with health and well-being. There has been a proliferation of mobile applications and devices to track personal information. At the same time, new technology in smartwatches, smart glasses, and personal computers bring further innovation to the field. Under the trend, researchers point out that people use the technology because they want to change. They actively choose and use them. The article explains personal informatics. Trackers and life loggers qualify and optimize one's life. Examples are diet, weight, sleep, exercise, etc. What I find innovative of the article is that it is not just technology-centric. It also mentions human action and rational decisions.
So this article is based on the study that was done and advertised for people that have used a pedometer or activity tracker, those who have used them previously, and those who want to use these devices who were interested in them. So basically, the whole study consisted of interviews from about 22 participants, all coming from different backgrounds in terms of health, gender, nationality, work or student status, athletics, and researchers throughout the study had extended contact with them. They often questioned these individuals um, about, their use and like why they use them, how they use them, and things like that. And what they found out was that participants would often talk about features of apps that they weren't actually using. Throughout the study, they also found that people have used activity trackers with their own activity trackers for a common goal, and that it's often a social and collaborative effort, and it's something not personal. And there's other types of activity trackers as well. Personally, I've done goal-driven tracking, so I downloaded this app called MyFitnessPal that I'm sure many have others as well to track nutrition. And it's interesting because for me, at least, it was at first personal, but then other people started getting into it, and we would often compare, So that's pretty cool.
So nowadays, tracking technologies such as physical devices and apps are being used by people to keep a record of their health for purposes of the well-being. And such devices are really useful for keeping track of a variety of health-related activities like sleep, diet, stuff like this. And even people, I think, like just use devices like just for like aesthetic purposes, like for example, Nike Fuel Band. With regards to the way of tracking, I personally find directive tracking to work the best for me because I find MyFitnessPal application to be very useful because when I started dieting, it allowed me to count the macros of the food I was eating, and this was a really huge help to me achieving my fitness goals. Um, with regards to the other ways, I feel documentary tracking and diagnostic tracking are good ways to record the kinds of activities people are doing, and this provides valuable information about one's health and enables them to maybe like identify potential illnesses and stuff like this. Um, Next is the collecting rewards way. Personally, the thing about this I feel like is that it sort of puts emphasis on achievements and results rather than the acts of doing exercises or dieting. Personally, this is something that um, this is not like a way of tracking that I personally would do. That's just me. And last but not least, fetish tracking. I feel like it isn't really as popular, but some people seem to like it, which is always good.
So, data tracking has a variety of uses, such as keeping track of calories, exercise, nutrients, diets, etc. A lot of tracking data are for short term use to help people plan their course of actions throughout the day, such as using a pedometer to achieve a certain number of steps, or logging the amount of food that they eat. Personally, I use a pedometer and average about 6,000 steps a day, just going to and from class and dorm. Using tracking data encourages me to be more active because I can have a visual representation of the improvement of my health. And there are also other apps out there such as Pokemon Go or Zombies Run that incentivize their users to be more active through the combination of data tracking and entertainment. But overall, data tracking is not going to be very accurate because people are very inconsistent with logging their data, so it's not good for long-term analysis.
As the need for medical information increases, the need for medical devices also increase. Today, more and more people are using personal devices to track their health, from heart rate to mental health. Although having instant and regular data may seem like a good thing, it may also cause other adverse effects. One effect is dehumanization in health. If we solely rely on personal tracking data, everything would just be about numbers versus getting medical help based on how the patient is feeling. In addition, relying on only the data to determine a person's state of health can also create stress, since numbers don't necessarily reflect how the body really is doing, and therefore will require professional health providers to determine whether these numbers truly reflect. Lastly, medical devices are usually only available to people of higher socioeconomic status. For those who really need it and can't afford them, it puts them at a greater disadvantage. I believe there should be a balance between determining one's own health status from devices and paying attention to one's own body. One good thing to do is to ask yourself, why are you using this device and what this application is used for? I think tracking devices and software should be used in supplement to our own health.